So taking responsibility. When I took office, we had a number of issues that were on the backs of myself and the legislature to address, many issues. So one of them was to get common ground with our unions. We started that, and we're going to continue to move that forward. So all 6 of the union contracts when I took office were expired, every one of them. We just settled the Corrections Officers Union, which was the 2nd largest union in Orange County. We settled that recently. We settled the 2 unions that represent SUNY Orange, and we're hoping that we can settle these other 3. You mentioned, now you're probably seeing, Steve, we don't see the math here. You said you had 6, now you got 7. A new union was formed a few weeks ago, but we had to add that in for accuracy. So we're happy to move forward on it. This is positive steps. A smaller government that works. We adopted a budget at the end of last year. This is a 2015 budget that cut $30 million in spending, the single largest cut at least in 40 years. That's as far as they'll let me go back. We have the smallest government workforce in decades, and now we're looking at consolidating departments. One of the departments we're looking at is General Services and IT, Department of Social Services and Mental Health, and we have more that are under discussion. These are positive steps. We're going to keep trying things. We might not always work, we might not always be successful, but we're going to keep trying things to make a better government for you. So let's look at what that budget did to us, the 2015 budget. Well, we worked underneath the tax cap law, which is working. The county taxes are down in more than half of the towns in Orange County. Every other town is below the tax cap. And our tax base is expanding for the first time since 2008. This is a critical thing to know. So for the first time since 2008, our tax base is growing. I stood here last year and told you that Orange County's tax base has shrunk 25% since 2008. We're finally starting to turn the corner on that and head in a positive direction. And the forecasting going forward is also looking on that trend. This is good, positive stuff. It's a sign of a healthy, growing economy. So how are we going to close the gap? We still have budget issues. I'm not trying to paint some rainbows and sunshine. We still have a lot of work we need to do. So we had a $12 million gap starting this year. We already adjusted it down to $9 million with Medicaid savings. The bad news when we ended up last year was the budget for 2014, which was there before I got there, had overestimated sales tax by $9.3 million. It's a lot of money. The good news is last year's budget had $50 million in surplus budgeted to get through the year. We only used $25 million of it. We were able, by bringing in the reins and holding the line on spending, only spend $25 million instead of the $50 million we're budgeting. That's a good success for my office and the legislature. That is a positive thing for the county government. It shows that you really can cut spending and hold the line on things. So, closing the budget gap going forward for this year. I'm going to propose a second round of early retirement incentives, renegotiate county leases. The county leases properties all over the place. I want to get out of these leases, and the leases that we're forced to stay in, that we need to stay in certain geographic locations, renegotiate them and renegotiate them at a better rate. The last thing is, Orange County is in, I want to get us out of real estate business. Last year I instructed the Office of Real Property and Planning to come up with a portfolio, do a study of all the properties we own. What do we need to keep? What can we market? What can we get rid of and put back on the tax rolls? They came up with that report. And this year, I am tasking them with marketing them so we can now sell those properties and put them back on the tax rolls. These are good, positive things. One other thing I have to mention is the Contract Evaluation Review Team, headed up by Deputy County Executive Wayne Booth and Jim Burpo. These group of individuals renegotiate existing contracts that the county has, and we have over 1,800 of them. They renegotiate existing contracts. They also sharpen the pencil on the new contracts going forward. So last year, you also remember standing here with phone book-sized books of infrastructure studies that were done on the county that were sitting on a shelf. I am proud to say, working with the legislature, we have now moved forward on the 1841 building in Goshen, the Court Annex building in Goshen, and we're also working on the Board of Elections building in Goshen. All buildings that we owned, all of them that had all sorts of issues, structural issues, that are all under construction today as we speak. We need to restore and reuse the county properties that we own instead of renting all over the place. So, let's talk about the Public Works Department. We maintain over 300 miles of roads in Orange County. We just got through, and I think everybody in this room will agree with me, one of the worst winter storms and winter seasons we've had to deal with that I can remember. So I would like to, at this time, this is Chris Vibrock sitting in the back room, our Commissioner of Public Works. Chris, I'd like to give a shout out to you. Please stand up so everybody sees you for the great work you and your men and women did this year. It was a tough year, and I appreciate everything your department did. So let's talk about Public Works going forward. 2015 will be the most ambitious infrastructure project schedule that we've had, I think, in the last 10 years in Orange County. Let's talk about some of them. We own about 150 bridges in Orange County. We've been fixing about 1 bridge a year for the last 10 years. We should have been fixing 2 bridges a year to keep up with maintenance on them. So now we have a lot of work to get caught up on. So what do you see going on today? The Forge Hill Bridge over in my friend Chris Ekis' neighborhood and Kevin Hines has been out since Hurricane Irene. That's under construction now. It'll be open in August. Scotchtown Avenue Bridge, the gateway between Goshen and Walk Hill, has been a single lane road. I'm sure you all been on it. You probably cursed to yourself when you got stuck at the red light. That is under construction now. They already started grubbing and clearing for that area, and that will finally be fixed and addressed. Furthermore, we are trying to add another 2 or 3, weather permitting, so we could possibly start working or complete 3 to 5 bridges this year to start catching up on that. So, Chris, I tasked you with that, and you met that task with a smile. I know you probably cursed me walking out of the office, but we're moving forward on things. The county airport. The county airport is currently seeing an airport realignment project. It's gone through its first phase. It'll be done by 2017. 90% of the money is coming from the feds, 5% from the state. The rest is our local share. So what is the problem here? You see the Walk Hill River here at the end of the runway. This is notoriously flooding over. Not good for business if you're landing planes. So we are doing an alignment project that will move us over here and get us out of this flood area and give us the space we need to land planes. So what is that going to do? What's the after effect going to be? It's going to allow us to market ourselves more to corporate jets and different types of facilities, which are utilizing and renting that facility. Also, hopefully Charlie shows us some love with some casino traffic as well. So I look at this as a positive move for Orange County. Our county clerk, Annie Rabbit, very big, significant part of our team. She's really the face of Orange County. The people see her, interact with her office. So these are some of the things that she does and they're doing in her office. Implementing an e-record and e-file system, website redesign, which was for self-service, flexible hours, changing their hours, ready reference books online. You guys remember those. Those books were worth their weight in gold if you were a local elected official. You could turn your page and call whoever you need to do. Now those are online. The number of record transactions that she deals with, this is just the volume of people that she deals with every year. 53,000 for record transactions, over 200,000 for DMV. So Annie, thank you very much for the work you do. So here's our fraud hotline in 2011, collecting dust. Here's our fraud hotline 2012, collecting dust. 2013, the spiders moved in, and now it's collecting cobwebs and dust. Now, people are calling to turn themselves in, and I'm going to get into this. Just follow me for a minute. We now, in Orange County, have a zero tolerance for welfare fraud, and that is due to the collaboration of these 4 agencies, led by the county DA, Dave Hoovler. Dave, stand up so everybody sees who you are. Thank you. So the DA, along with the Department of Social Services, Darcy's in the back. Darcy, please stand up. Where are you? You're hiding. Okay. Darcy, we had the sheriff before, and of course the FBI, they never stand up. They're just hiding in the crowd. Those 4 agencies working together have allowed us to start having these results, and it's going to get better this year too, even though they told me not to say that. $748,000, almost $1 million, $750,000, has been saved that would have been lost to people abusing the system. Investigations are up 62%. Voluntary recoveries have skyrocketed 880%. What does voluntary recoveries mean? Well, I'll tell you what they are. People are calling us saying, hi, we've been defrauding the system. How do we give you money to give them back? This never happens. And what does this do? This has a ripple effect to people that are abusing the system. We have an awesome team of workers in the Department of Social Services, in the DA's office, in the Sheriff's office that are making this happen. So I really appreciate the work they're doing. And this is really staggering numbers, stuff that we could be proud of.